Hello, welcome back to my channel Lumsy Sews. In today's sewing tutorial, I'll be sharing with you how I made this structured design with just two simple things, crinoline and ridgeline boning. If that's what you want to learn, then continue watching till the end to see how I made it. It's very easy and detailed. It will just give your dress a big lift. Let's start with this. To make this, I'll be using crinoline. You will need your fashion fabric. If it's satin you want, or you want a see-through fabric, you can actually use any fabric for this, any of the fabric, but I'm using satin for this. And then you'll be needing boning. There are different types of boning. The boning we're going to be using is the sewable type. This type that you can sew, it has a space where you can sew it on both sides. That's the side we are using, not the plastic one. And for crinoline, there are different types of crinoline. You have this one that is flexible like this, and the width is let me see, the width should be 2.75. yeah, the width is 2.75. There are other ones also that come in 2.75, but they are not as flexible as this one. Like this one also is 2.75, 3 inches, but it's a thick one. And there is another one that is another thicker one, but this one I think is 1 inch. Yeah, this one is 1 inch. So the one I like to use are the ones that are wider and more flexible. This is not flexible. This is not as flexible as I want it to be. It's thick. It's thick. I don't like the thick ones when it comes to this particular design. So I'll be using this light one. Can you see how light it is? Yeah, that way I'll be able to, it's more malleable. Let me put it that way. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut out the width that we want, the length we want to use for the design. You can go as far as 30 inches, but I want mine to be 28 inches. I want the longer one to be 28 inches. So I'll make one 28 inches and I'll make the other one 25 inches, just like 3 inches shorter than the other one. So for each of them, you go ahead and cut 3 pieces of the same length. So like, make sure you don't stretch it. Just leave it the way it is like that, and you're going to cut. I told you I'm cutting 28 inches. So I'm going to cut 3 pieces of this. Next, we are going to join these things together like this. But for me, there's no need for you to go that long trenchy and be, sewing it, and you come back again and you add your crinoline. So you get your boning, just go to your machine and you're going to hold the 3 of them together like that. Place this one here and you're going to sew it there. It's very simple. There's no need for you to baste it first before you sew it. So as you sew along, you just be placing it on top of that and you're sewing it. You can also sew it at this edge, but most times I don't do that. So you're going to add the boning on this side and on this side. The same thing to the other one. So I have gone ahead and sewn it. As you can see, I didn't even bother myself to sew the second side, and it's still as I want it to be. So I have 2 pieces here. One is longer than the other. Can you see? One is longer than the other. So it will help you to design. So can you see how flexible this is? You can design to anything. That's why I like to use the flexible crinoline. With this, you can make any design you want. Can you see? You can decide for it to be straight. You can decide you want it to be like this. Anything you want to do, you can actually do with this because it's flexible. It's flexible. Can you see? So next is for us to cut our fabric. For us to cut our fabric, you take the measurements. Now that it has the boning, the real measurements would, show up. So what we have here is 2.75. That's what you have here. So you're going to cut your fabric. If you fold this into 2, you're going to get 5.5. You add sewing allowance to that, which is 1 inch, which will give you 6.5. So I'm going to cut a fabric that is 7 inches in width, and for this I have 28 inches, so I'm going to cut out 30 inches. So just make sure the length, if the length is 25 inches, make your fabric 27, just for it to accommodate it.
I've cut 2 pieces of fabric long enough to cover the design I made. So next is I'm going to go ahead and fold this like this, and I'm going to sew 1/2 inch away. I'll do that and come back and show you the next thing to do. This is it after sewing it. So I'll go ahead and turn this over. You can use your any means you can use and turn it over. Just turn it over. So this is it, as you can see. Next we are going to insert our details into it. Can you see? For the color of the crinoline I used, if you're using a see-through fabric, please use the same color with the whatever fabric you're using. So just go ahead and place it. And if you're using a see-through, after making it, you find something to design on top of this place to cover this, if you're using a see-through fabric. So I'll just go ahead and fold it like this so that it will be easy for me to insert it into this place. Once you have inserted it, it can now freely enter. So this is it. Can you see? Very neat, right? Both the front and the back are very neat. So make sure you iron it and align it so that the seam would be on this edge. So once you turn it over on any side, it will not, you will not see any seam. So this is it after making it. Can you see? It's now very, very malleable. You can do any design you want. You can even make it straight. If you keep it straight, it's sturdy enough. Can you see? If you want to make it any design you want, you can do any design you want. So how to fix it? You need to either you fix it on your client when the client is wearing their clothes, fitting their clothes. You just, you know, place it the design you want, and you're going to use your pin and pin it down. When the client removes it, then you can now tack it with your needle and thread. And now after everything, you use embellishment to cover up the place you have tacked. And if you're doing it on mannequin, the same thing. Just make sure you use mannequin or your clients. That way it will be easy for you to see the silhouette or the design of what you're making. Yeah, so guys, you can decide. Can you see? If you want this, any design you want to make with it. Can you see this design? This is another beautiful design. Can you guys see? This is another beautiful design. So you can decide to hold the two of them like this, and it will give you a very beautiful design. Guys, can you see? This is lovely. And then you can now make this one anything you want. Anyway guys, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.